Welcome to the Week 12 edition of NFL Previews and Picks. There are 3 games tomorrow, Thanksgiving, so this will be a great day. At Detroit, the Green Bay Packers come in to play the Detroit Lions. Detroit started the Thanksgiving game day tradition 50 years ago, but some of the games have been less than appetizing. This game, on the other hand, has all sorts of interesting plots and subplots. Can Green Bay remain undefeated? Can Matthew Stafford remain upright? Can the Lions defense, led by Ndamukong Suh, get to Aaron Rodgers like they did last year? The Lions have looked great at times this year and not so good at others. Here's a chance on a national television stage for them to show that they are for real. Can they do it? Not sure, but I think this will be a close game. Mike Golick of Mike and Mike and I are giving this game to the Lions. In the middle game of the day, the Miami Dolphins come in to play the Dallas Cowboys at Cowboy Stadium. Not to be outdone by the Lions' traditional game, the Cowboys have gotten into the act too. This game is really the only chance to see the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders since they participate in the opening game ceremonies. But I digress. Both of these teams have been playing better as of late. Just when you thought Tony Romo would be thrown out of Big D, he starts to play like Roger Staubach. I know, Troy Aikman is more recent, but I'm a Staubach guy all the way. As for the Dolphins, these guys are playing great, finally. Tony Sparano would have surely lost his job had they kept losing, but now they seem to have found a new life with Matt Moore playing quarterback. Dallas is in the playoff hunt in the NFC and needs to keep winning to stay there. I think they win here, but I think this game could be a good mid-afternoon snack. Like the continual food references? Hey, it's Thanksgiving, after all. And the evening game tomorrow night, the San Francisco 49ers go into M&T Bank Stadium to play the Baltimore Ravens. And for the nightcap, we have the first ever Harbaugh Bowl. Of course, Jim Harbaugh coaches the 49ers and older brother John coaches the Ravens. In a conference call this week, Jim lamented of the lack of prep time for this game being on Thursday and with the cross-country flight now. The Niners are 9-1, so I really don't think that the flight is going to hurt them too much. They are also 4-0 on the East Coast, so that's this year. So that's not a problem either. Also, Alex Smith is playing like a Pro Bowler finally after 7 years of having trouble getting out of his own way. They have a strong running game with Frank Gore and the passing attack featuring Michael Crabtree. The Ravens are led by their defense, led by Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Trouble with them this year is they have been inconsistent on both defense and offense. They have losses against teams in the lower echelon of the league, and that has to be troublesome during the week of preparation. Jim Harbaugh just has his team motivated and playing at such a high level right now. Niners win. On Sunday, the Houston Texans go into Jacksonville to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. The story here is the Texans switching to Matt Leinart at quarterback in light of Matt Schaub's injury. The Texans are in the lead in the AFC South and in good position for the playoffs. To me, Leinart has been somewhat of a bust so far. He was the heir apparent to Kurt Warner in Arizona, and that didn't work out, so the jury is still out on him. The Texans have Arian Foster and a good defense, so maybe all Leinart has to do is be a good game manager, and everything will be okay. As for Jacksonville, this year has been a growing process. They switched to Blaine Gabbert at quarterback. They beat the Colts, but then again, everyone is beating the Colts this year. As for this game, even with a quarterback change, Houston is just a better team right now and wins this game. At MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Buffalo Bills come in to play the New York Jets. An AFC battle of teams that are kind of alike in one respect. Sometimes they play well, other times not so much. The Jets have been to the AFC Championship game 2 years in a row. The Bills have surprised most teams this year. They have played with a chip on their shoulder for most of the year. Ryan Patrick will never be confused with Tom Brady, but he has played well this year as well. Mark Brunell got some snaps with the Jets' first team this week in practice. Brunell is how old? Both of these teams are 5-5 and on losing streaks. I give the game ever so slightly to Rex Ryan and his Jets. At Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, the Cleveland Browns come in to play the Cincinnati Bengals. This game features two young and up-and-coming quarterbacks in Cleveland's Colt McCoy and Cincy's Andy Dalton. The Browns still don't have Madden cover boy Peyton Hillis. Neither of these teams is in the playoff hunt, but look out for the future. Cincy is scoring on par with other teams in the league, but the Browns' offense has simply been anemic. Since Cincinnati wins here. At the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia, the Minnesota Vikings come in to play the Atlanta Falcons. The Vikings' offense is simple at this point. Just hand the ball off to Adrian Peterson over and over. I mean, even with a high ankle sprain, he is their best player. Matt Ryan and the Falcons have a similar situation with Michael Turner. They want to control the clock with the run and passing game featuring Roddy White. Let's face it, even with the defense led by Jaron Allen, the Vikings are a few players and years away from contending. Falcons win. At the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, the Arizona Cardinals come in to play the St. Louis Rams. In yet another edition of the Irrelevant Bowl, the Cardinals visit the Rams. Even though the Cards still have Kevin Kolb listed as their starting quarterback, John Skelton has been getting a lot of playing time. As for the Rams, last year was a bit of a mirage, and the injury bug has hit them this year. Not a good combination. St. Louis wins because, well, somebody has to. At Lucas Oil Stadium, the Carolina Panthers come in to play the Indianapolis Colts. Carolina has played better for the most part than you would think a two-win team should. The play of Cam Newton has given them hope for the future. As for the Colts, their only hope is that Peyton Manning comes back 100% healthy next year. I, for one, do not want to see him in a game until he is 100% healthy. Carolina wins. At LP Field in Nashville, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come in to play the Tennessee Titans. Not sure who is starting for Tennessee this week. Will it be Matt Hasselbeck or will it be Jake Locker get his first NFL start? Locker showed some good signs last week. Is it me or does this class of rookie quarterbacks remind you a bit of the 1983 class? Okay, the jury is still out, but they have been impressive so far. Tampa needs to keep winning to keep up with the Saints. Close game here because I think both of these teams are better than given credit for. I give the win to the Titans. At Oakland Alameda County Stadium, the Chicago Bears come in to play the Oakland Raiders. For the Bears, Jay Cutler is gone for at least the regular season with a broken thumb, so in comes Caleb Haney. Okay, he probably won't produce the passing numbers Cutler can, but he still has Matt Forte in the backfield. And that always tough defense led by Brian Urlacher. For the Raiders, Carson Palmer is still getting his feet wet. He has been erratic so far in his return to the league. Good thing he has Darren McFadden to tote the rock. The Raiders' defense also has looked good, but not in the class with the Bears' D. Another tight game here with the Bears winning. At CenturyLink Field in Seattle, the Washington Redskins come in to play the Seattle Seahawks. Another edition of the Irrelevant Bowl. These two teams are going nowhere fast. The Redskins win the offseason with their high-priced signings and then lose games during the regular season. As for the Seahawks, Pete Carroll is probably wishing he had stayed a college coach. I say this every week about a game, but this game could either be an offensive show or a defensive struggle. I think Seattle gets the win here purely because, well, somebody has to. At Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego, The Denver Broncos come in to play the San Diego Chargers. A tale of two quarterbacks. For Denver, you have Tim Tebow. You know the team doesn't really want him, but all this kid does is win. It will be interesting to see what they do with him when the regular season is over. For the Chargers, Philip Rivers is having his worst season as a pro. Here is a guy who can make all the throws and is competitive is competitive as they come. But for some reason, it's just not happening for him this year. Norv Turner might want to put his house on the market now. I'm definitely a Tebow supporter, and I'm giving this game to the Broncos, although I hope he does not need any last-minute heroics to win the game. At the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, the New England Patriots come in to play the Philadelphia Eagles. This year, the Pats are having to rely on their offense while their defense grows into its role. Fortunately, they have future Hall of Famer Tom Brady throwing to an incomparable core of receivers led by Wes Welker and Rob Gronkowski. Let's not forget Aaron Hernandez and Deion Branch, all of them capable of scoring every time they catch the ball. For Philadelphia, this has been a disappointing year. They were supposed to contend for a Super Bowl. Lose this game, and they might as well forget about even making the playoffs. Michael Vick has not played like he did last year, and recently broke his ribs. Thus, last week's start for Vince Young against the Giants. Not sure what Vick's status is this week, but I do know that he has not practiced. For most teams, that would mean he is not playing. Young played well last week once he got warmed up. After all, he had been on the bench for almost a year. All in all, there is no contest here. Patriots win. At Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, the Pittsburgh Steelers come in to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, I need somebody to explain something to me. How do the Chiefs, a really mediocre team, get two nationally televised games in 2 weeks? And against superior teams, no less. This game, as opposed to last week's game, is at Arrowhead, the best-smelling stadium in all the NFL, so maybe some home cooking will help. Okay, maybe not when the opponent is the defending AFC champion Steelers. Supposedly, they are rested and ready for the final push to the playoffs. Big Ben, Troy, and all the rest know how to win when it matters most, and the time is now. Sorry, Kansas City, great-smelling stadium or not, Pittsburgh wins, possibly big. And finally, on Monday night, the New York Giants go into the Superdome, the Mercedes Superdome, to play the New Orleans Saints. Here's a game that has possible playoff preview written all over it. These two teams are both playing under the radar slightly, but still winning. Yes, the Giants had their tough divisional loss last week against Philly, but similar to the Steelers above, they are battle-tested and know when it matters most. Not to be outdone, the Saints are much the same way. Drew Brees is putting up his usual numbers. Both of these teams have strong all-around games. The Giants may need this game more, but I think the Saints go marching to a win. And there you have it, this week's NFL previews and picks.